militia members and get their quick comments here in a moment, but I wanted to just go over this evidence. We have a new story out on prisonplanet.com. Provocateurs at In the Fed rally. According to testimony given at a Missouri House Representatives meeting yesterday, anarchists attempted to get other protesters to commit criminal acts during the In the Fed protest last year in what was possible attempt to instigate chaos to justify a harsh crackdown on behalf of the authorities. And then it goes into all the history of this happening. In March, it came to light that the In the Fed protests, which took place at banks and regional Federal Reserve branches across the country on November 22nd, it's happened since then, were being monitored closely by the United States Army Reserve Command. We have a link to the secret document we broke right there, who implied that those protesting against the Fed and the bankster bailout were terrorists. On November 22nd, 2008, Alex Jones led a rally at the Federal Reserve Bank in Dallas, Texas. The Dallas protesters specifically mentioned the official Army document. Ron Paul's brother was also in attendance. During testimony given in response to the infamous Missouri Information Analysis MIAC report, a document authored by Missouri Highway Patrol and distributed, it was really written by the feds, it was just a federal version, to fellow law enforcement agencies that characterizes Ron Paul supporters, libertarians, people who display political bumper stickers, people who own gold, or even people who fly the U.S. flag as potential domestic terrorists. One of the organizers who attended the protest said that anarchists attempted to recruit followers and encourage them to commit illegal acts. Yeah, and then you look at the video and the photos. I've seen this in Austin, the Fortune 500 in 99, or was it 2000, I forget. And there's these big, giant 6'4" guys pushing people, starting fights, going, let's riot. And I'm like, you're cops. You're not some little foundation, funded. I mean, your foundation funded, but not the normal little anarchist, meth head, trust fund kid with snot running down their nose. You are cops. And I started going, they're cops, and going, I'm arresting you, citizens arrest. And this video is somewhere around the office. I've aired it on Access TV back in the day many times. And cops run across the street going, stop it, Jones, those are our officers. And they uninsert those two and insert two more. These giant roid-head cops in bandanas going, ugh, trying to, and they were really getting mad. And remember, Denver last year, it came out in the Denver Post, they had cops attack cops. That was confirmed. During testimony given, a response to the infamous Missouri Information Analysis Center, the document authored by Missouri Highway Patrol, so I already went over that. My group was at the In the Fed rally. This is the testimony in the legislature. My group was at the In the Fed rally, and there were a bunch of different groups there. Sissy Spargan told Missouri House representatives on Monday, and there was a group of anarchists who started talking to us. And then they tried to recruit us or have us join their group. And you look at the video. You've seen these cops once. You've seen them a million times. Then they started telling us that we should write on our signs and instructing us to letter them, rewrite some of our signs. Later, we overheard them saying they couldn't even get us to jaywalk. So they're like, damn, we can't get them to even jaywalk. And it's big old giant cops. I mean, it's just because they... You know, the cops, if they were smart, would put in smaller cops, but they're so afraid of protesters that they put their biggest, toughest guys like, it's a deadly mission, men. You're going to go commit crimes and try to stir up people to commit crimes so we can violate the First Amendment. Are you willing to go in with these grandmas and people that are against foreign banking domination? Oh, my God, we better send our biggest men in there. They're so deadly. It's just ridiculous. And these guys will be scared of you when they saddle up to you at an event and say, hey, you want to blow something up? They're kind of like, you'll see them kind of shaking when they're, it's like, dude, I'm not scary here. I'm an American. I know you're a little criminal and all, but anyways, it goes on. During the April 2009 G20 summit in London, police stood back and watched anarchists attack banks and other buildings in an incident that had all the hallmarks of a staged event. Following the SPP protest in Canada, Quebec provincial authorities were forced to admit that the three rock-wielding, black mask-wearing anarchists were, in fact, police infiltrators used to gather information on protesters, that they staged a fake arrest. And then it just goes into police state to the takeover, where I document the police admitting that the major foundations brought in anarchists and the Delta Force commanded them. That was in all three Seattle newspapers. I mean, folks, it just goes on and on. Now, let me briefly get into some of this. Colorado GOP calls for apology after Democratic office vandalism. This is out of Fox News. I also have one here out of the Denver Post. The chairman of the Colorado Republican Party is calling on the Democratic counterpart to apologize following comments he claims connects an act of vandalism to opposition to President Barack Obama's health care reform. And then it turns out that it was a staff worker of the DNC there in Denver that supposedly did all this. So, again, every time I see it in the news where somebody puts a swastika on their dorm or burns down the black church, it's always one of the church members or the dorm member, or, I mean, it just never ends. I mean, I've never seen a modern case. And then even the Klan bombing black churches in Alabama and places in Louisiana, it came out were FBI informants doing it. I mean, it never ends. So we've got that report. Neo-Nazi rally was organized by FBI informant Orlando Sentinel. I start messing up when I go too fast. I'm going to take my time. We're going to go to your calls in a minute. Orlando Sentinel. Neo-Nazi rally was organized by FBI informant. And he set it up. He ran the whole thing. Folks, I've been to the Nazi rallies here in Austin to protest them, you know, go and bullhorn the Klan and the Nazis. And you're looking at them. And, I mean, these aren't even white people that are dressed up like Nazis. I mean, they can't even, I guess, get ADL workers or Southern Poverty Law Center people to get up there and do it. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's totally fake. It's like the grandson of the head of the ADL is the spokesman for Al-Qaeda. I mean, and they've done the video layers off the Al-Qaeda watermark and the Intel Center logo, and it's the same video layer. They're producing these. These are fake. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, we broke that, and then Wired Magazine months later reported on it. Then he got threats and said, well, it looks like it was the same video layer. Folks, we can look in here on our primitive computers and blow it up and see it's in the same layer. Neo-Nazi rally was organized by FBI informant, so that's Orlando Sentinel. Here's a London Telegraph. Germany's top neo-Nazi spied for ministry. Then it goes into admitting that they actually staged fire bombings and attacks under German intelligence orders. Here's another one. White Power rally leader was FBI snitch. Law Center reports. The FBI says, yes, he did work for us, but not when he made the latest threats. That shows how they burn their own people. Hal Turner admits he worked for the FBI. That's another one. Canadian Jewish Congress organized Nazi party. And this actually came out in the Ottawa newspaper, the Ottawa Citizen. Neo-Nazi leader was MI6 agent, London Guardian. Again, commanding it, running the attacks. Here, let's continue. Fox News, ministers, police destroyed Klan records. And then it comes out because the Klan was working for the police, carrying out the attacks. Fox News, AP. Why did the Jewish Congress build up the Nazi party? That's Ezra Levitt's website. Here's another one. New OKC revelation spotlight FBI involvement in bombing. And this came out in the Salt Lake City Tribune. Southern Poverty Law Center involved with informants inside. That's why I'm their #1 target, because I expose them. Again, how did the British intelligence control India when there was one Brit in many areas for every 1,000 Indians? They would play tribal groups off against each other, religious groups off against each other. It's called the Great Game, or divide and conquer. And here's that actual Salt Lake City affidavit. McVeigh had high-level help working for Army intelligence. Again, Southern Poverty Law Center. Attorney, sealed documents indicate OKC inside bombing. FBI defense team files identify government informants directing McVeigh. Folks, I can go on for hours here. This is not a game or not a joke. And